We are here today set for a final in this matter. We are conducting this through the Zoom program based on a finding of good cause. So we'll take announcements from everybody.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
Tanner Aho for the mother, Alyssa Hanson. I'm present ready.
Jeff Hill on behalf of Father Richard Chambers. He's here. We're ready.
Stacy Zabala on behalf of Remington, here and ready.
Well, I read in the report that the department is asking for an extension in the case so that we can complete some things. Is that still the situation today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's, if you want to go ahead, I'm not sure who you want to testify, but about what kind of extraordinary circumstances we have for the extension request.
It's Stephanie Corbett, Your Honor.
I am the St. Francis Permanency Specialist.
Okay. Are you fairly new to this case?
Fair.
Fair. Okay. And the department's asking for an extension today, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what are the reasons for that? What are we looking at that we need completed?
Well, mother needs to complete her outpatient. That's the only service she needs to complete. And she was working on getting a vehicle, which she has gotten. And we're just trying to get him set up with a daycare or something where she is. Okay.
Has there been any developments with the father in the last month or so?
What do you mean by developments? I'm sorry.
Drug screening.
Yes. I sent him for a hair last month.
Okay, and the results came back and were concerning on that.
Yes, sir.
I know that believe in the report it said that parole in Oregon was going to read drug screen. Have you talked to them to see if what they have done?
I sent her an email yesterday afternoon. I have not heard back.
Okay, all right. And that drug screen was filed with the court.
Yes.
Okay. So mainly what we're looking at is to get set up to move toward reunification.
Yes, sir.
And there's just a few things that we need to finalize before we get to that point. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we're wanting to reunify with mother.
Yes.
Okay. And then clear up what was whether it was a relapse or what went on with Mr. Chambers' drug screens.
Yes, sir.
Now he comes down here every so often for visitations, is that correct?
He's only came down once.
Just
from what
once.
I believe.
All right, and that was December, January?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you said that mother needs to finish her outpatient. Is that something that was requested through the service plan, or was that something that was recommended from another service she did?
It was in her service plan.
It was in her service plan that she needs to do outpatient. Okay. Is she in the process of getting set up with that? Has that started? Where are we on that?
She was waiting on getting her vehicle so she could sign the papers and get it started.
Okay. So are we hoping that's gonna start in the next week, 2 weeks? What are we looking at?
Well, yeah, and within this week or next week, yes.
Okay, all right. And when did she get the car? I know that it was on B sometime in March. Did she just get it?
Oh no, she just got it, either today, yesterday, or something. She went and picked it up and drove it back.
Okay, so she went up to Oregon and came back with it.
I'm not sure where she picked it up at, but
Okay.
yes.
All right. Do you believe that an extension at this time to allow these things to get set up would be in the best interest of the child and the parents?
Yes, sir.
What you said something about with Remington School. What are we trying to do on that?
Just get him set up in some daycare. So while she works.
Okay, all right. And that's for when he is reunified with her.
Yes.
Have a daycare set up and get all that lined up.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Naranjo?
No questions. No questions, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Hill?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, and Ms. Zavala?
No questions.
Okay, all right. Mr. Trout, anything further with respect to the extension?
Not really, Your Honor. We would just ask for it in order to get this and get the reunification plan set up and to try to get some things going and make sure that everything's lined up for the mother when the child is reunited is what we're looking to do.
All right, let me ask, Ms. Corbett, you made reference, you're saying you're trying to get some daycare arrangements made, and you're talking about for when the child is reunified with mother?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And we're working on getting him enrolled.
Okay, Ms. Naranjo, anything to present with respect to the extension?
No, Your Honor, just that we're in agreement to the extension.
Okay, and Mr. Hill?
Same.
All right, and Ms. Zavala?
Your Honor, I got to see Remington in person on Saturday. He's doing great. Mom has been actively working services. Remington is autistic and needs to make sure that there are things in place for him whenever he does reunify with mom. I think mom is working well with caseworker. I think mom communicates well with placement to get information on how best to deal with Remy. And I think this extension would be in Remington's best interest.
Okay, then, well, with respect to the extension, then I'll find extraordinary circumstances exist and we'll grant the extension and we'll set a new dismissal date. Mr. Trout, have you figured out what that is?
Yes, ma'am. September 8th of 23.
Okay. With respect to a review hearing, I know we've already heard a lot. Is there anything else, Ms. Corbett, that you need to tell me about that's happened since the court report was filed, or anything else new?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Ms. Naranjo, anything to talk about as far as a review today?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
Mr. Hill?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Ms. Zavala, anything else?
Nothing that hasn't been covered already.
All right. Okay, well, I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and I will continue the child's placement. And like I said, we'll grant the extension, set the new dismissal date of September 8th of 2023. And our next review hearing will be June 29th of 2023, and that's on a 9 o'clock docket. All right, I appreciate y'all. Thank you, and
Thank you.
good luck.
Thanks, Judge.
Continued good luck to parents. Okay. Okay, then what do we have new since the court report was filed?
Nothing new. Desiree's doing phenomenal in her new placement, going leaps and bounds. There for a little bit, we were a little worried. Her behavior was getting pretty erratic. And now she's calling me about once a week, telling me how she's achieving her goals. She's looking forward to graduating school, continued care. So she's turned over a new leaf and doing amazing.
That's wonderful to hear. Do we think she would even consider extended care?
Yes, ma'am. That's what we are talking about right now. She graduates high school after she turns 18. So that's going to be our initial hurdle that we're going to look into. But currently she does want to stay in the Houston area and is looking at college. So.
Okay. That is good. Happy to hear it. Are we, I know she was really behind in school. We're making headway then?
So we're making headway. At her last placement, she was refusing to go to school. It was a daily battle. Since this new placement, about the first week or two, we had that battle. And then me, her, the director there, we all had a long drawn out battle, and now she's going to school every day, loving it. So she is catching up slowly but surely, but we're going to get her there.
Okay. Good. Where is she classified right now?
So we're right now a junior.
Okay, well, that's not too bad.
And
I mean-
she's not opposed to like an opportunity school so that she can progress faster. So right now we're looking into different options with the current placement.
Okay, we gonna do summer? I think summer school of some kind.
I haven't brought that up, but I think it would probably be a smart idea.
Yeah, I mean, if she could do any kind of credit recoveries or something like that, even this summer, that, you know, anything to help keep her on track
Yes.
to graduate. So, okay. All right, sounds good. Ms. Bala?
So as I stated before Tasia could come on, is the only reason I didn't sign the agreed order is just I didn't get a chance to actually Zoom with her until last night. But I did get to see her. She looked good. She seemed very positive. She also reported to me that she's a junior. She's behind in physics and English. But she had a pretty positive attitude about getting those caught up and thought that those would be able to be caught up. And really, if she is at a junior level, according to her birthday, she's really on track. I mean, that's where she should be. But we do have that issue that she will turn 18 in, I believe, October. And so next year, so if she's a senior, we've got to figure out exactly, you know, where she's going to be. She did tell me last night that she was very interested in staying where she was until she could graduate high school. So I know Tasia was very responsive to me. You know, we had emails going around this morning. She's going to be checking on whether that placement that she's at could keep her once she's 18. We don't know. We're trying to get that figured out. I do have to say, I've had a number of kids that have been placed in this placement and have done very well. I'm liking this placement. Some people really responding there. So she did have a few questions. She is hoping to get her driver's license. She really wants to be able to get a job. And I know Tasia is looking at the possibility of what we can do in terms of driver's ed, looking at whether she can stay in placement. The other remaining issue was she really wanted contact with somebody that she's had contact before. She described this person as somebody who helped her and was a stable influence. Now, we're having some discussions back and forth because she's doing substantially better in this new placement. And one of the things that's different at this new placement is she's not having contact with this person anymore. But you know, we're just going to kind of be exploring those issues. And if we need to set something else with you to address that, we'll do that. Her hope is that when she turns, after she graduates, that she could go and live with this person and do college there. So we'll be working through all of those issues. I have no reason to believe that Ms. McIntyre and I can't talk about all those issues, you know. And so if it becomes something that we need to set in front of you and have a decision on, we'll do that. But really, she seems to be doing great.
Yeah, my big concern with that would be, you know, if for her to qualify for, you know, an SIL program or whatever, you know, there's, you know, placement's got to meet those requirements, so to speak. So I don't know whether that would work or not. Well, I mean, I hope that just overall her head's just in a better place and at least she's looking forward. I mean, we had a lot of time there where I don't think she was looking forward at all. So I think we're, you know, things are headed in the right direction now.
Your Honor, I got in touch with her siblings also from Amarillo, and they are going down at the end of the month for a sibling visit. I approved a Saturday and Sunday, and that has been something me and her have worked on since I took the case in November. So she's really excited about that. And I think that they're big positive influences on her change and attitude as well, because they're 19 and 20 years old. So I think they're very positive for her.
Well, that's great. I mean, you know, they can just reinforce the fact that there is life after age 18. So, okay. Well, Very good. I'm glad to have a good report. So, all right, then I will continue the department as permanent managing conservator, and I'll continue current placement, and then we'll start looking at whether or not I would be surprised if she couldn't stay where she's at, since she's going to still be in high school. I think we cross that bridge fairly often, it seems like. And I don't really recall having to move a kiddo because of that. So hopefully that's not going to be a big hurdle. But anyway, we'll see what we can do with that. So our next hearing is scheduled for August 31st of 2023, and that's on a 9:00 docket, and that'll be obviously just about a month and a half before she turns 18. So maybe we'll have answers. We are here today on a review hearing, and we're conducting this through the Zoom program based on a finding of good cause and also agreement of the parties. We are live streaming, and Ms. Taylor's making our record. All right. Michelle is logged in with us, which is great. And we'll take announcements from the rest of you.
Okay. Megan Schulte, attorney for the department, present with permanency specialist Erica Cantrell and supervisor Kristen Davis.
Stacy Zabala on behalf of Michelle.
Shauna Rowland with Amarillo Area Casa.
Okay. All right. My understanding is we've got a short window here that we've got Michelle with us. So what do we have new since the court report was filed?
Since the report was filed, Michelle is currently in a step bed placement. Her placement did put discharge in on her due to behaviors. We were looking at a placement in Utah, but we want to hold off on that until the new RTC in Lubbock has opened, and so they were looking at her. So we didn't want to jump and move her to Utah in hopes maybe we could get her into that placement, so she can be close. I can see her, Jonna can see her, Stacy can see her. So that's kind of where we are as far as placement. She is going to be here. She went there on the 7th. She'll be here for 14 days at this placement. But I mean, we're still really working on behaviors and just some of the negative choices that Michelle has been making.
What are we doing about therapy? I know in this interim that may be
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The 14 days, that's kind of hard for therapy to, happen.
I'm trying to enroll in school. Okay, thank you.
I really talked to her about therapy. She says it does not help her. I don't know if she doesn't feel it helps her or she's not opening up, or I really encourage her to do therapy, but she's very clear. She's not interested in doing it. She still participates, but I don't necessarily think we're getting a lot out of it.
well,
Because
maybe we just haven't found the right fit.
I think that's it for sure. I agree with you, Judge Baker.
So what about school? Is she on track in school?
No, ma'am. That's one of our primary issues. In this last placement, I mean, she was only there for less than a month, and she did not go to school. She would be dropped off. She would skip school. She would go with peers or her boyfriend, is what she said. And then at times, I mean, she ran away for a few days at a time. I mean, she ran away in January a couple times. was gone for several days during that time. So we're
Let
just,
let me interrupt you, Ms. Cantrell. Anybody have a problem if we go off YouTube?
No, Judge.
Not at all.